Hey guys, so I recently rewatched Hotel Transylvania 2, and I gotta say, it's a good movie that still holds up and has a ton of great gags. But I noticed that one of my favorite gags was missing.
The scariest monster of all is diabetes.
How dare they disrespect my man Cakey like that? He's like the coolest monster ever. And it turns out this isn't an isolated incident. Many films are changed post-release. So I thought I'd go over a few examples and just ask whether or not these seriously harm the film or if they're just as good without them. The most frequent reasoning for this is censorship. Now I'm not talking about movies or episodes of TV shows that were full on banned, because I'm going to save that for another video. I'm talking about when they were altered. I guess we should start with the aforementioned cakey scene. And well, the reason it was removed is because some mom whose kid had diabetes interpreted the joke as it calling her son a monster, which, no, the joke is clearly implying that diabetes itself is a monster, not that people who have it are monsters. So, I think not only did they remove such a crucial part of Hotel Transylvania 2, they did it for a stupid reason. Looks like the scariest monster of all is actually censorship. Or is it? The Simpsons has had quite a few instances of censorship, whether it be internationally, universally, or locally. For instance, the Arabic dub replaces Homer drinking alcohol with Homer drinking soda, which I'd imagine makes some episodes very weird. Meanwhile, the episode where Homer goes to the World Trade Center was heavily cut for much of the 2000s due to a certain incident. However, nowadays you can watch the episode in all its glory. There is one permanent instance of censorship in The Simpsons, and that is with the season 4 episode, Marge Gets a Job. During the scene where Mrs. Krabappel lists off all the diseases that Bart has faked, the first time the episode aired, she mentioned Tourette syndrome. But in all reruns, on streaming, and even on the DVD, it's replaced with rabies. This kind of sounds similar to the Cakey incident, but unlike that, I can actually kind of see why this was removed. This, I actually do see why people with Tourette's would take offense to that, and really, I think the joke is fine without it. Originally, the opening song of Aladdin featured the line, "They'll cut off your ear if they don't like your face," which naturally was seen as anti-Arab, so this line was cut from all future releases, whether they be theatrical, on streaming or DVD, or airing or whatever. The topic of homosexuality is also frequently censored. Disney's live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast apparently had a brief shot of two guys dancing, and that was enough to almost get it pulled from theaters in many countries. You see, this was during a time where America and a lot of other Western countries were pushing for more gay representation in media, but countries in places like the Middle East or like Malaysia weren't too keen on that. So what Disney decided to do was just cut out the scene for international releases. Instead of satisfying both sides, however, this move got intense backlash from both sides. Personally, I haven't seen this movie, and I don't think a scene like this would be anything show ruining. I think being a lazy cash grab would probably be more likely to ruin the movie for me, but I can see why many people dislike this move for political reasons. Of course, not all examples of changing a movie post-release is due to censorship. Probably the most infamous example of this phenomenon is with the Star Wars movies. They've been changed so many times over the years, it's hard to keep track of. That would make a good video idea. Let me know if you want to see me compare various versions of Star Wars. Now, George Lucas said he regrets the original versions, and these new versions are what he intended. But many fans have argued otherwise, that Star Wars is a part of history, and that just adding new CGI to it kinda just, doesn't work, 'cause it takes away the charm. In the iconic Titan Academy episode, Types of Students at Recess, there was originally a scene where Kevin gets a makeover. However, I noticed it was missing on my last few rewatches. It was pretty clearly removed for this line.
What are you doing in the female toilet?
I sometimes I identify myself as a woman.
Even when removed from that context, though, that scene was honestly kind of weird from a character standpoint. I mean, Kevin was taking pictures of trees. Really, I don't think removing the scene really brings down the quality of the episode. I don't think it necessarily helps, but I think what I love about the episode is still completely intact. I see why people do this. As a YouTuber, I've definitely looked back at my older videos and wished I'd have done something differently. Like, sometimes things age poorly, but is that always a bad thing? Sometimes aging poorly can be part of a work's charm. Sometimes, if it aged poorly, that's just part of what makes it special. But what do you guys think? Should we be modifying pre-existing works to suit modern audiences, or should we just leave art alone? Also, comment down below how much you love Keiki.